Here we go. All right. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for the 33rd annual the Hartford Virtual Ski Spectacular. My name is Wyatt Gomez Garcia, and I am the Senior Events Manager at Move United, formerly Disabled Sports USA and Adaptive Sports USA. We would like to thank the Hartford for their longstanding commitment and support, allowing us to bring you this virtual opportunity. Before we get started, I wanted to go over some housekeeping items. Closed caption is enabled and attendees are welcome to adjust font sizes as needed. This is a webinar, so attendee video and microphones are not enabled. You will only be able to see and hear our panelists today. To connect with other attendees, make sure you send your chat messages to all panelists and attendees, and introduce yourself to the whole group. This session will be recorded and hopefully streamed to Facebook Live very shortly. With that, I am thrilled to turn it over to Will Reynolds to begin our opening ceremony. Will?
Thanks, Wada. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our virtual kickoff for the 32nd edition of the Hartford Ski Spectacular. It's great to see everybody on the screen. Of course, it's not as great as seeing everybody here personally, in person. I was able to make the 1,900-mile trek out to Breckenridge, and I hope that the vaccine gets distributed shortly and that all of you can maybe make a trek out west sometime this season safely. I thought it would be a little cathartic to come out here and still be out here during the week of Ski Spec, but it is certainly not the same as having our Move United family out here and all of the great participants. So I hope that you guys can at least enjoy virtually. As I mentioned, this is the 32nd installment of the Hartford Ski Spectacular, and this is the nation's premier multi-winter sports event for people with a disability in North America. As those of you that have been a part of this event, you have seen that we invite individuals that have been disabled from many different walks of life through military injuries or other national tragedies that have occurred, such as the Boston bombing or the Vegas shooting. And so it really is a great consortium of individuals that are able to come together at this event, as well as all of the instructors and the other facilitators for this great event. This is the first time we're doing so virtually, and there are of course, some benefits of doing virtual events. There's no limit to the participation. So as you see, we've got 175 individuals online right now, and we know that is only going to grow. And of course, this is going to be recorded to Facebook Live. So we know the impact of this event is going to be even further reaching than it's been in the past. So we are happy to continue to grow the community. And when we're in person together next year, this will be probably the largest event that we've ever had. So with that, I would like to pass it over to our Executive Director, Glenn Mary. This is now his second time presiding over this event, and he's continuing to make a large impact in helping us grow the event. So Glenn, over to you.
Well, welcome everyone to the Hartford Virtual Ski Spectacular. It's great to have you here. Wish we were in person, as Will was saying, and thank you, Will, for your leadership on the board of directors and for kicking us off today. For those of you who haven't heard and have been literally living in seclusion for the past 6 months, Move United is the culmination of Disabled Sport USA and Adaptive Sport USA combining their 110 years of combined experience in adaptive sports. And we're here to bring the power of sport to push what's possible for people with disabilities, to confront ignorance, fuel conversation, incite action that leads to a world where everyone's included. And as I think back over the last just over 2 years that I've been at the helm of the organization, we really do impact lives, and it really does make a mark on how the world sees people with disabilities engaging in sport, changing the world, changing their world and the perception of their world. You know, this past 9 months has been a little bit crazy. We all have had our own adjustments as we emerged through COVID. And the emerging research around COVID-19 shows that the coronavirus pandemic has really increased the psychological distress, particularly among high-risk groups. And some of our population is within those high-risk groups. Behaviors such as physical distancing, as well as the social and economic impacts, are worsening mental health everywhere. And we wanted to still kick off Ski Spec because we feel like it is a community event. We feel like it's a way to engage people, even if we can't do it in person, this family needed to come together as we entered into December and to share stories, share events, share experiences, and reminisce about the 32 years together that we've had. Well, we wouldn't be able to do the program this year or for the past 27 years without the help of the Hartford as our title sponsor. And much thanks to the Hartford and their partnership over those 27 years of Ski Spectacular. And in the last 3 years, we've really seen that partnership grow and flourish as Ability Equipped has put more than $3 million of equipment in the hands of adaptive sports programs around the country. And this partnership continues to grow and flourish. And in a moment, I'm going to introduce one of the key players from the Hartford and a member of our board of directors. But before that, I wanted to share with you a short video about the partnership and what it means to be part of the Hartford Virtual Ski Spectacular and the family that comes together in December. So without further ado, let's see the video, please. And now I'm so happy to welcome and introduce a board member of Move United, a leader from the Hartford who really cares about the partnership and has been able to move us forward over the past several years. Lori High, the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer for Group Benefits at the Hartford. Lori, thank you for joining us today.
All right, good afternoon, and thank you, Glenn. I'm so pleased to be here, and I'm thrilled really to have the opportunity to welcome you to the 2020 Virtual Ski Spectacular. It's certainly different than prior years. I think you've heard all of us that have spoken say that although we're not physically together this year, we sure wish we could be. And our community, our commitment to our community, it really does remain stronger than it ever has been. Our relationship with Move United and our sponsorship of Ski Spec are so very rewarding to us at the Hartford. It is integral to our business mission that the Hartford has been coming back as title sponsor for 27 years. You know, as a company, the Hartford absolutely believes in the power of individuals to achieve their ambitions. We are one of the nation's leading disability insurers, and our products, services, and our approach to business are all focused on ability. We do believe that physical disabilities do not ever equal limitations. The obstacles that can be overcome, and with the right opportunity and I think support, people can certainly do extraordinary things. And that's really what Ski Spectacular is all about, and why we are as committed this year as any year to sponsoring this event and working with Move United. Move United provides opportunity and support for individuals with disabilities to gain confidence, and that's really through sports and recreation. Over the next few days, you will be able to participate. It will be virtual, fitness sessions, clinics, webinars, and other social networking events. We won't have casino night, but we'll still have fun. I hope you all take the opportunity to attend the sessions, learn more about the sport or sports you're interested in, embrace the moment. Although this year is different, what we're achieving together isn't changing at all. I've been attending Ski Spec for 9 years, and every year I am as moved by my own participation and watching everyone else's participation. Seeing lives change is amazing. And one of the things we've been able to do is present adaptive equipment to select E-team athletes courtesy of our Ability Equipped program. And I'm going to show you the 3 individuals here on the screen that are this year recipients. Our Ability Equipped is a philanthropic, cause-related program designed to provide access to adaptive sports and equipment to youth and adults throughout the country. We created this program in partnership with Move United because we have a shared goal, and that is to empower people with disabilities. Our first equipment surprise took place 3 years ago at Ski Spec in 2018. I can tell you every person in that tent that day cried. And we are thrilled to be able to continue this tradition in this virtual environment. I'd like to take this time to congratulate our 3 Move United Elite team members who were surprised with new adaptive equipment. Congratulations to Jesse, Preston, and Will. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us this week. I think you're in for an amazing virtual experience. So thank you. And I get the pleasure of introducing our very next speaker. This man fell in love with snowboarding at the age of 15. He enjoyed the sport so much that he has made it a career out of it. He's represented Team USA at 2 Paralympic Winter Games, and he also happens to represent the Hartford as a spokesperson. I'd like to introduce to you someone that I consider a friend, a strong business partner, all-around good guy, a U.S. Paralympian, and a Team Hartford athlete, Keith Gable. Keith.
Woo!
Thank you very much, Lori. So I attended my very first Ski Spectacular back in 2011 as a volunteer instructor with the National Ability Center. And let me just tell you, Ski Spectacular is truly that. It's spectacular. It's amazing to see the community that Move United and the Hartford have created. By coming together, they have given people with disabilities of all paths of life a place to go safely and learn about adaptive snow sports. Now, being the largest adaptive snow sport event of the year, the sheer magnitude of Ski Spec is absolutely undeniable, but it wouldn't be possible without this extraordinary effort of the staff, the volunteers, the instructors, and the coaches. Whether it's your first time or you're returning for your 10th season, at Ski Spec, you're never a stranger. Now, snowboarding has been my passion long before it was my profession. And anyone who knows me knows I consider it my church. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of mentoring and coaching many athletes, and this has given me the unique opportunity to witness their tremendous growth on and off the snow. Looking back at those experiences, I think it's safe to say that my all-time favorite would probably have to be teaching Lily to snowboard. I mean, that just warms my heart every time I think about it. But today, that's not the experience I'm going to talk about. I'm actually going to talk about my second favorite experience, which is a very, very close second. It might actually be tied for first. Now, I'll never forget the time I met Owen Pick. Owen was attending the event as a guest of the Blesma Group, which is a military charity for limbless veterans. This group travels all the way from the UK just to show these men and women what the spirit of ski spec and snow sports is all about. And anybody who knows the Blesma Group knows that they are nothing short of a good time. They're full steam ahead, whether it's going all in every hand at casino night or just sending it on the snow. The best way I can sum it up is they're all gas, no break all week. Now, when I met Owen, he had just lost his leg about a year prior due to the war in Iraq. He was a young guy that, as far as he was concerned, I'm sure he just thought he was going to be showing up to this cool event, have a good time, and learn something new. I don't think that he had any idea that this single week of snowboarding would actually change his life forever. So Owen had never snowboarded before, but had a very strong background in wakeboarding. And I knew right off the bat after talking to him, we were going to work really well together. So after breaking a couple bad habits created by his wakeboarding, we had Owen linking turns by the end of the first day from top to bottom. And what can I say? The guy's a bit of a natural. You know, by the second day, he was actually exploring different, more challenging terrain that the mountain had to offer. And at one point, he came up to me and said, "Hey, man, can we go look at the park?" And I said, "Sure, absolutely." So we went over and just did a quick inspection lap through, jumped on the lift, and we were in a conversation about park etiquette, what to expect when you're in there, how to call a proper drop, all that kind of stuff. Well, we get about 3/4 of the way up the lift and appears out of nowhere, or seems to be out of nowhere, the jump line. And our conversation had shifted to what his expectations and goals were for the rest of the week. So I asked him, what are your goals? And he pointed off into the distance, points at this jump, and he says, "I want to hit that thing." Now, mind you, again, this is Owen's first week on a snowboard, and the Breckenridge Park is not for the faint at heart. You know, the smallest jump in there is about 15, maybe even 20 feet from takeoff to landing. So I kind of just chuckled and I was like, "Are you sure?" And in his thick British accent, he goes, "Yeah, man, what's the worst that could happen? I'll lose my leg again." I got a great laugh out of this, and I think I responded with, "Yeah, I guess you got a point." So we get off the lift and we decide to put it on the back burner. I really just wanted to make sure that he had all of the fundamentals and dynamics down before I gave him the green light to send it to the moon off of one of these things. So the final day comes around, and I mean, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the skies are blue, the snow is glistening, and Owen's riding had exceeded all expectations. We take a couple warm-up laps and I say, "Hey, Owen, you ready to go hit those jumps?" And he's just beaming with excitement all of a sudden. He's like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." So we head over to the park. Per the general rule of thumb, we take a quick inspection lap through the park and jump back on the lift. Now on the lift, I give him a quick rundown of what I would like to do in order to get him safely off and on a jump. I tell him we're going to do 2 setup turns. I'm going to demonstrate. We're going to turn a flat base, and we're just going to carry our trajectory right over the jump. He says, "Okay." So we go to the drop-in zone. I demonstrate 2 setup turns, flat base, over the jump. The speed's perfect. I come down the landing, unstrap, and run back up to where I can see both Owen and the jump. I yell up to him. I say, "You ready?" He nods. I say, "Okay, call your drop-in and go for it." He does. He lays down a perfect toe side turn, but then he goes for his heel side turn and he overcommits, completely scrubbing away all of his speed and loses all of his forward momentum. He goes about halfway up the lip and slides back down. I walk over to him and say, "Hey man, it's okay. Go back up and try it again." So he does. He does this about 2 or 3 more times, doing the same exact thing. Toe side turn, overcommitted, heel side turn, loses all his forward momentum and about halfway up the lip, slides back down. So at this point, I can tell he's getting a little bit defeated or feeling a little deflated. And I walk over to him and I say, "It's all good. Let's try a different tactic." We walk back up and I explain the new tactic to him. I say, "I'm going to hit this thing switch because Owen's goofy footed and I'm regular footed. So for those of you who don't know what that is, I ride with my left foot forward and Owen rides with his right foot forward. So essentially anything I demonstrate for him is backwards." So, anybody in snowboarding can tell you, I think one of the sketchiest things in snowboarding, or at least the scariest thing, is hitting a jump switch and then landing a switch without intentionally spinning in the air. I was going over this in my head and, I hadn't done it in a while, so my heart is racing. And I knew that there was probably a 50-50 chance that I was either going to tackle on the lip or once I hit the landing. But Owen's previous statement to me of what's the worst that could happen? I'm going to lose my leg again, popped into my head. And I said, if nothing else, he'll at least see where he's supposed to put the turns and he'll be able to hit the jump with enough trajectory to get over it. So after a couple deep breaths, I drop in. This time I did a heel side turn and then a toe side turn. Put my board flat, hit the jump, and before I knew it, I had landed. And I was ecstatic because, like I said, 50-50 chance I was taking it to my face. I get down the landing, unstrap. After a sigh of relief, I sprint back up to where I could see both Owen and the jump, and I yell up to him. I say, "Owen, you got it?" He nods. And before I can even tell him to call his drop and go for it, he's screaming at the top of his lungs, "Dropping!" And everybody in the park turns and looks. He goes down, he lays down a beautiful hillside turn first, then a toe side turn, puts his base flat, and sends this thing to the moon. He takes it about 5 or 10 feet past the knuckle and lands about halfway down the landing. As soon as he puts the landing gear down and realizes that he's riding away from this thing, his arms go up in triumph. Now he gets down to the bottom of the jump and he's just hooting and hollering. I slide down to him and give him a huge high five. He turns around and gives me probably the biggest bear hug I've ever received. You know, I can't remember the last time that I was on the snow and saw that much stoke and excitement from someone. And that's probably why it's one of my favorite stories to share, especially about Owen, because Owen has gone on to join the Great Britain national para snowboard team. He has joined me on the para snowboard World Cup circuit. He has not only become one of my best friends on the circuit, but he's also become one of my biggest competitors. He made his debut in Pyeongchang. He didn't have the greatest showing there, but the next year in 2019 went on to World Championships to win a silver medal. And last year, he actually won Dew Tour in the bank slalom discipline. Now, without fail, almost every single time Owen outperforms me in a competition, someone always comes up and says, "I bet you wish you didn't teach him to snowboard." And as much as I get a good laugh out of that, you know, my answer is always the same. No, I am super proud of him because it's that simple. I just am. I'm extremely honored that I've had the opportunity to play a small role in his career. So at this time, I'd like to just take a moment and thank the Hartford and Move United for their unparalleled efforts in creating the most spectacular snow sports event of the year. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have never had the opportunity to share my passion with an eager young lad from Great Britain helping change his life forever. So from the bottom of my heart, you guys, thank you. My name is Keith Gable, and I'm going to turn it back over to Will.
Thank you so much, Keith. Those were awesome stories that you shared. Everything that you shared, you know, really encapsulates what happens out here at Ski Spec. You know, you really can't put words to the gravitas that not only sports have, but large events like Ski Spectacular. So the story that Keith shared about Owen, there's countless stories that occur every Ski Spec, and we're trying to recreate that virtually. So we're hoping throughout your own local communities and in your households and just across social media, you guys can recreate that same impact that Ski Spec has on so many lives year in, year out. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about the activities that are going to occur this week. So there are going to be free daily fitness sessions from Tuesday to Thursday. So as you saw in the stats in the video that Glenn shared, there were about 1,700 fit kits that were mailed out. I'm sporting a lot of the items from that fit kit. So all of you have great ski hats that you can wear outside if you choose to do some exercise and activity outside. You also have these great neck gaiters. I do need to give a COVID PSA that these are not face masks. These are a little breathable, but they are good for sun shields, which they're advertised as. But, you know, with face masks, I do have to give another PSA that there is a huge benefit to wearing face masks. All of you that have been out to Colorado, you know how dry it is out here. And you did see that one of the stats that wasn't put up there was how many tubes of chapstick that were handed out. Because that's, of course, not needed because we're not in Colorado. But if you do wear your face mask, your lips will stay nice and moist. So definitely keep your face mask on. So there are going to be great Adaptive Academy sessions as well. These sessions have filled up faster than ever. And due to that, we are going to offer additional sessions coming January 4th to January 6th of 2021 to provide access to this high-level instruction to even more snow sports instructors. Again, that's another benefit of doing these events virtually. When you come out to Ski Spec, a lot of us are racing out to the snow to do either Alpine or Nordic or any of the great events that we have out here, and you might miss some of the augmenting sessions that are occurring for continuing education. But now that we're virtual, nobody needs to take time off work. You all have time to kind of check out for a little bit and dial into different sessions. So you probably can get a greater experience of just the wealth of sessions that are offered at Ski Spec. Also new to this year, we're doing our Trek to Breck virtual challenge. to symbolize the 1,995 miles from Hartford, Connecticut, out to Breckenridge, Colorado. So we want to continue to move the initiative forward by utilizing that virtual challenge as a amplifier on social media. So we want everyone to pledge those miles. It's not too late to do so. And all the miles will count towards the ultimate goal, and they'll be logged on a Strava app. For those of you that haven't used Strava, it is an exercise social media app. So any kind of exercise event that you participate in, where you log miles, swimming, skiing, running, snowboarding, anything that you do, you can virtually log through a GPS feature the miles that you are accruing, and that will go towards your Trek to Breck virtual challenge. So we want everybody to link their Strava, sign up for Strava and link their Strava to this virtual challenge. There are 4 winter sports themed prizes, including a trip to Breck from the Hartford Ski Spectacular 2021. The winners are going to be announced on Thursday's event closing session by Brittany Corey, who is a U.S. Paralympian, and also a Move United Elite Team member, Ty Widberg. So we want you guys to all share this experience on social media. We want you to obviously do #SkiSpec and also tag @MoveUnitedSport and @the Hartford. I don't know about all of you, but since we've been in this virtual quarantine way of operating, I've been on social media way more than I've been in the past, which is kind of counterintuitive because people are not leaving their homes as much. And, really you're just seeing the inside of people's kitchen and living room and their backyard. But I've found a need to connect with individuals more virtually. So we hope that all of you do the same. And even though you're only in your backyard doing exercise and activity, we want you to definitely post what you're doing and tag those relevant items. So with that, we are going to cue our opening event video. So I don't know if we can come off script and maybe everyone can come off mute and we can do a little rally cheer so we can hear all of the 200 participants that are out there. Woo!
Well.
All right.
Thank you, Will. This is Julia Ray, Programs Director for Move United. I wanted to close out the session today with a really important project that Move United is invested in towards the end of 2020. For those of you who've been part of the adaptive sports industry for a long time, you'll know firsthand the power and importance of programs like the Hartford Ski Spectacular. Unfortunately, there's still not enough data that proves this to the rest of the world. So Move United is excited to announce an ambitious research project in partnership with the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign that aims to be the largest ever study into the impact of sport participation on the health and well-being of people with disabilities. And this is your opportunity to also shape the future of the adaptive sports in this country. So we need your help to do that. We'd like to ask more than 1,000 people with a disability to spare 15 minutes and complete this survey, the results of which will be shared with the entire Move United community to help us all amplify our voices. So I'm going to share the link in the chat. It'll also show up in your follow-up communications, so please do take the time to fill that out. And with that, I'm going to thank everybody for this exciting event. We're looking forward to spending a few days with you, if not in person, in spirit. And of course, the Hartford and all the amazing people in Breckenridge that we can't be with, our host chapter, the BOEC, and all of our friends in the Breckenridge community. Stay safe and well, everyone. and we'll look forward to these next few days. Thank you.